Welcome to What's the Deal with Sam? Starring Sam Lilly. Join Sam as he discusses a wide variety of topics.
Batman.
Now let's start the show.
Thank you. What's the deal with Jedi? They're like Jedi with the ground. I'm a little shaky on this whole thing. I mean, look, it's Star Wars. It's nerdy shit. It doesn't really matter, but let's talk about it anyway. Cause I know you wanna, but I'm not even talking about Jedi in general and the weird, creepy cult thing they have going on, whatever the fuck, the Jedi Order shit. No, not really talking about that so much as the idea of the terminology that's used. See, you had the original trilogy, right? And you had Jedi, who are good guys that use lightsabers in the Force, and then there's Sith, which are the bad guys that use lightsabers in the Force. And, that's pretty self-explanatory shit, Like, light side, dark side, Jedi, Sith, and like that's what defined those guys who are using lightsabers in the Force. And that's kind of been that way throughout all the movies and pretty much the universe. But then there were some things that, extended universe and whatnot. Some of it's canon, some of it isn't. I don't know what's counts now and what doesn't, what's being brought back and everything. It's all a confusing mess at this point since everything kind of got rebooted with the extended universe. But I was playing Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, which I guess is no longer canon, that part of the EU. There was a thing in there where there were some characters that were called Dark Jedi. And that really threw me off. Because it was like, how can you be a Dark Jedi? I thought Jedi were like the good guys. They were using the light side of the Force, right? So you're like, oh, well, like how could they be dark then? Would that be like somewhere in the middle if they're not a Sith? But a lot of them were just with the Sith also. And then again, there were also a lot of Sith that weren't using the Force or lightsabers. They were just like in weird suits shooting guns. And it was like, maybe that means then the Sith is more of like an organization or like a group or whatever, and you're like, so they don't necessarily need to use the Force to be a Sith? Just to be a Sith Lord, maybe? Maybe? So I kind of thought that was a thing, and it's like, oh, so like Jedi is like a general term there, right? Because then like you could be a dark Jedi, or you could be like a light Jedi, which you would just call Jedi, which is confusing. But I was kind of like, maybe that's it. Like the Jedi is like the way of the Jedi; they're following that stuff, and then there's like the Sith are following the ways of the Sith, and like, but then like I guess a dark Jedi would be following the ways of the Sith. Wouldn't they just be a Sith? I guess that's what makes them dark. It's confusing. It's already a mess with the idea of a dark Jedi. But if we say that that's not part of it, I guess, even saying that, we still have Jedi and Sith, and now there's this new idea I've been hearing going around about a gray Jedi, which again is like, what the fuck does that mean? What the fuck is a gray Jedi then? The idea of Jedi are good guys and Sith are the bad guys, right? Then what the fuck is a gray Jedi? The idea is that they're in the middle, but that assumes that like that the grayness of it, that means that like basically a dark Jedi would be like a Sith, and a light Jedi would be a Jedi, and then a gray Jedi would be in the middle. But then why is it the Jedi just called a Jedi? If all of them are Jedi, then technically like the Sith would also be Jedi in a way, right? So is Jedi a blanket term that appeals to all of them? Where it's like, okay, so we have light, dark, and gray Jedi, or does it about what you follow? Because if it's about what you follow, then you would be a Jedi if you follow the Jedi way. You'd be a Sith if you followed the Sith way. Or you wouldn't be either if you didn't follow either. Regardless of if you had Force powers, use the Force and lightsabers, like, it wouldn't matter if you did that if you didn't follow either way, like it's a religion or something. Like, if you didn't follow the tenets of those, then it's like you wouldn't be either. So you wouldn't be a gray Jedi or a gray Sith. And you wouldn't be a light Sith if you're a Jedi. Just like it doesn't make sense to be a dark Jedi if you're a Sith. And that's why it's confusing, because you can't have Jedi be the same term as all the people who use that stuff if they're supposed to be like the Jedi Order. It doesn't make any sense. Except from like maybe sort of the standpoint of they split off from the Jedi and became evil and like whatever, and that was what made the Sith. Sort of. But then the Sith are all still then Jedi by that example. And then why not just call them Jedi? Or call them all Dark Jedi. And then call the Jedi, you know, if the Jedi are supposed to be the good guys, then the middle isn't a gray Jedi, is it? Because then it'll be like a light Jedi. It's confusing. It's confusing to me. You know, like, the whole thing doesn't make a whole lot of sense. The terminology of it is just really baffling. And yeah, if you're not following a Jedi Order, are you a Jedi anymore? I don't know. I'm not going to dig deep into this because I don't know that there's even really a solid answer. I feel like I would have found out the answer by now if it was there. And so far, it seems like no one I've talked to knows. So if you, like, know what it's supposed to be, let me know in the comments. I would love to know what the deal with that is, because, like, right now, the only solutions I'm coming up with suck, and they're not making sense. They're just really baffling. And they're either, the terms they're using are contradictory, or they don't work very well. Like, it doesn't make a lot of sense to use these terms. I don't know. So what's the deal with Jedi? I mean, what a fucked up term that is. Fucking A. What is the deal with Jedi? They're like Sith with the ground. What's the deal with Sam? What's the deal?